Let's think about body bits. So this leaflet is really useful. It's called Bodyworks. You can access it via our website, and it's got loads of really interesting bits and pieces and facts and figures and information about how our bodies work. Let's focus on female reproductive organs. So all the female reproductive organs are situated here in the pelvic cavity. Girls have got fallopian tubes, ovaries, a uterus, a cervix or the neck of the womb, and the vagina. The outside area is called the vulval area. So if we're thinking about the menstrual cycle, in your brain there's a little gland which is called the pituitary gland, and that's responsible for sending messages to our reproductive organs to stimulate ovulation. So the pituitary gland sends out a little message which is called follicle stimulating hormone, and that activates the ovaries. Here's a close-up. So the follicle stimulating hormone triggers off the ovaries to get lots of little eggs ready. Now you're born with all the eggs that you'll ever need, but it's not until you start to go through puberty that those eggs become active. So under the influence of follicle stimulating hormone, lots and lots of eggs get ready to be released, but one usually takes over and that becomes really ripe and ready to be released. So the follicular sac, so that's the sac that's got the egg in it, can become quite big, and it's full of fluid, and the little egg kind of bobs around inside, ready, waiting to be released. All that jiggling around of the eggs in the ovary stimulates one of our female hormones, which is called estrogen, and then that estrogen level rises and it sends a message back to that pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland thinks, right, okay, we're ready to rock and roll, and then it sends out another message which is called luteinizing hormone. Now the luteinizing hormone is the thing that makes the egg pop out of the follicle, and then it flies out really into nothingness, and then the little fimbria, the little finger-like structures here at the end of the fallopian tube, catch hold of the egg, and the egg starts to get wafted down the fallopian tube into the uterine cavity. So the other female hormone is called progesterone. Now that's stimulated from the shell that's left when the egg has been released. And what the progesterone does is it tells the rest of the body you don't need to release any more eggs. So it prevents other eggs from being released. Now those female hormones are amazing. So the estrogen, so that's produced when the egg is getting ready to be released, that also builds up the lining of the womb, so it's ready to receive a fertilised egg in case a pregnancy should happen. The other thing that happens is it alters the mucus here at the neck of the womb, and that's really important that you know about that, because when you're fertile, that mucus becomes very clear, very slippery, very stretchy, looks a bit like raw egg white, okay? But it doesn't just stay here at the neck of the womb, it slides out through the vagina, out onto the vulval area. And guess what? Sperms can live for up to a week in that fertile mucus here at the neck of the womb. So it's a really important part of the female reproductive cycle that you know about those changes to cervical mucus. Once the egg has been released, and it's died off because it only lasts for about 24 hours, that cervical mucus, under the influence of the progesterone hormone, becomes really thick and gloopy, and it actually forms a bit of a mucus plug there at the neck of the womb. So your menstrual cycle, generally most women have a period once a month. So we classify the start of your period from when the bleeding starts, and then it goes on until the end of the cycle when the next period comes. And for most women, that usually takes about a month. When we're thinking about contraception, it's really interesting to think about the hormones that we use, which are synthetic hormones, to mimic how your body works. So we've got synthetic estrogen and synthetic progesterone, which actually prevents ovulation.